It seems that greed and love for money, as a wise sage once said, is the root of all evil. This is certainly evident in the blatant lack of real concern for the impact that those obsessed by this evil are inflicting on the world and all living beings around them, including their fellow man. It is said that if a man cares little for his own kind, much less will he care for those who are different to him. But when the once great cities have fallen to ruin and there is no more fuel for their motor vehicles, when the economy begins to suffer the same fate as the very environment upon which all life depends, then perhaps man will reconsider that which is important and that which is not. Alas, too late will he realize that those things for which he gave most of his time, and that which was lost, at the altar upon which he sacrificed all, even the planet's well-being to the god of material wealth, are not worth anything when it comes down to survival. By this time, any effort to right the wrongs will be fruitless. The die is cast, and there will be no turning back. All that is left is for humanity to suffer the consequences of hundreds of years of neglect and self-centeredness. Here is a piece of history which should have been the first glimpse of the peril which was to follow. In an article called "The Forest is Dying, Acid Rain over Germany," Spiegel article series of 1981, it was noted that trees in many of the European forests had seemingly been inflicted with some form of disease and were dying at an alarming rate. It was at first feared that a contaminant had somehow leaked into the soil, perhaps from the spraying of crops in the vicinity of the forests. This was until researchers realized that the trees were dying from the top down rather than the roots up. It was the first evidence of what is now known as acid rain, which is a direct result of pollutants from industrial smokestacks and from vehicle exhaust fumes. In an attempt to assess the situation further, scientists took samples of these substances and radiocarbon dated them. To their dismay, they discovered that many of these toxins were over 400 years old and had in fact been polluting the atmosphere since the Industrial Revolution. A later article in Spiegel, which had the headline, "Acid Rain, There's Something in the Air," stated the following: "Sulfurous precipitation poisons forests and the air we breathe. Experts warn that a time bomb is ticking in West Germany's forests. The widespread death of fir and spruce, experts fear, is the first omen of a worldwide environmental disaster of unimaginable proportions. That's because the cause of this silent forest destruction, acid precipitate from the smokestacks of power plants and refineries, threatens not only flora and fauna, but also human health." Remember that this was in 1981. Since then, the situation has become worse, mainly because, although some steps have been taken to reduce the production of many of the toxins, the issue has not been resolved, and it is doubtful that it will be, or else we would have seen a greater effort worldwide in research and development of alternative forms of energy. On a global scale, coal and other fossil fuels are still the backbone of the energy production, and thus of the economies in the majority of countries. And yet symposiums and high-level meetings are held on a regular basis to discuss these issues, and all to little or no avail. A Native American chief once attended one of these conferences, and after having sat and listened to the proceedings, he said, "I have heard many words and much talking, And at the end of it all, you have agreed that still nothing will be done. Thus, it is all too clear that nothing will be done as long as the majority are driven by that one idol of modern society: profit. Admittedly, there have been attempts made in certain countries to address these issues, but for any to be truly effective, these measures would need to be adopted, not by a handful of nations, but on a global scale. And global cooperation has never been humanity's strongest feature. But in the end, as the saying that opens this video states, only when the last tree has died, and the last river been poisoned, and the last fish has been caught, will we realize that we cannot eat money. A Cree proverb.